Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is having a good day. We'll just wait for a few more minutes and then we'll start with the webinar.
Unmute, okay.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Sagar Kagathara and welcome to the webinar on SketchUp. First we'll cover a high-level overview of what SketchUp is all about and its use in different markets. Then we will go through a technical session with my good friend Narayan from Adibio Solutions. Use the chat window to ask any questions you may have and we will cover them during the question and answer session in the end. So let's get started. So what is SketchUp? SketchUp has been known as a conceptual modeling tool for many years, but looking at the complexity and accuracy SketchUp can handle, we no more call it a conceptual tool. Instead, looking at the flexibility and the multiple markets it can address, we are more inclined to call it a horizontal modeling tool. 3D for everyone is the motto that we have had since the inception of SketchUp. The main intent of this motto is to make SketchUp as easy and affordable as possible so that everyone in the industry can actually use not only to view but to also create their own 3D models and communicate their ideas better. And we think SketchUp is the easiest way and platform to do all these things. So key benefits of using SketchUp. First of all, it is very easy to use. It is so simple to create 3D models with SketchUp that we call simplicity the most important feature of the software. And despite of the simplicity, it is very accurate. In addition to this, it is also very flexible software, which makes it a tool for a very wide range of users. Pretty much anything that anyone can think of can be modeled in SketchUp, from items to landscape to construction drawings to virtual mockups. It is really up to the user to decide what you want to use it for. If you know SketchUp from beginning, you know that the UI hasn't changed much. That's because the users love the simplicity and the UI is not very hard to learn and get started. SketchUp is really accessible for the stakeholders. One, because of the low cost entry point. The software itself is very reasonably priced, especially relative to the some of the very large and complicated 3D modeling softwares. Second, the time and hence the cost it takes to get trained in the SketchUp is low because it has a shallow learning curve and most of the users are self-taught. There is also a growing number of educational institutes that encourage the use of SketchUp in the institutes. So many of the students are already SketchUp users and they need no special training to become productive. Another key benefit is the fast return on investment. I think it makes sense to the people and they see value in it. Again, I mentioned 3D for everyone, and over the years, it has rapidly become true. The primary use started with architecture, but it quickly exploded to many different markets. And every day, we hear about some new market utilizing SketchUp, which may never have thought of. So although it looks like an architectural tool, many industries can utilize SketchUp. Now let's dive into some of the fields where SketchUp is being used as a useful tool. Starting with the obvious, architects use SketchUp during not only the conceptual stage, but the whole life cycle of the project, starting from conceptual design to construction documentation. The layout feature in SketchUp's Pro version lets you create annotated drawings for which we will see some examples later on. Now talking about landscape design and site development, there is a bit of an overlapping here with architectural design, where SketchUp is utilized for site layout, solar studies, contour creation, hardscape, and software elements, and external signages. On the bottom left side of the slide, you can see a rendered view of a SketchUp model that shows the landscape area of the building. Now stepping into the city and urban planning design, it is a great tool for communication graphics with design proposals by developers or urban planners. In some of the cases, the developers can arrange sessions with community and regulatory authorities to show the impact of their urban design in surrounding context to express their proposals better. It also helps in creating line of sight studies where you can visualize the details from a human eye level and understand the design impact. Well, construction is one of the rapidly growing markets. Sometimes they build the design first in computer before executing on site to understand the site conditions and raise relevant RFI. You can see a site model with a crane which shows the area of influence of the crane, which can be a discussion point for the construction sequence and safety. You can create virtual mockups of assemblies for better understanding of the design and share the same with fabricators to express your intent. In this case, you can see that a 2D drawing of a window detail has been popped up into a 3D model to show how it is going to be constructed or assembled, and it is a much better way of communicating the design. Sometimes things don't have to be too detailed. In one case, you can see that someone has found a conflict or a constructability issue in the plan. So they quickly generated a 3D geometry for the area and highlighted the conflict to raise an RFI. Engineering is an area where use of SketchUp is relatively new, but the primary use is to show graphic representation of the design proposals. You can superimpose the design on Google Earth data to locate and visualize the project in relation to the context. The entertainment and gaming industry has also seen a rapid acceptance of SketchUp. In movies, the art directors use this tool to mainly convey their concept stage designs to the rest of the crew. It is also used for set construction to locate various elements on site, etc. For the gaming industry, it is used for scene design, level design, etc. Okay, so now coming to the most common question we get from the people. What is SketchUp Pro? Isn't SketchUp a free tool from Google? Well, SketchUp was a Google product until a few years ago, but now it is part of Trimble portfolio and it is being offered in a free as well as a paid version. The free version, which is called SketchUp Make, has limited functionality and it can only be used for non-commercial purposes. If you are using SketchUp for commercial use, you have to have the Pro version. And as you can see in the comparison here, the Pro version provides a lot more features, including import-export of various other file formats like CAD, PDF, and a lot more. Also, the Pro version includes a tool called LayOut. It is a 2D application which allows you to create 2D annotated drawings and presentations out of your SketchUp models. We'll see some examples of layout usage in a while. Another benefit of using the Pro version is dynamic components. Most of you might be using BIM tools like Revit and so you must be familiar with the concept of parametric objects. SketchUp Pro has similar functionality in the name of dynamic components. Dynamic components are components with special attributes. For example, if you have a dynamic component of a staircase, and if you increase the height, it will add more steps automatically. This functionality is only available in Pro version. Now, these are the examples of what we can produce using the layout tool. Some more examples and some more. SketchUp also comes with a 3D warehouse from where you can freely download thousands of readily available 3D models and components and use them in your own models. It is completely free. There is also an extension warehouse. It allows people to download free and paid extensions and do much more with SketchUp by adding more functionality. So when we talk about SketchUp Pro, we are actually talking about all of these things together as a platform, including SketchUp, Layout, 3D Warehouse, and Extension Warehouse. I will now request my good friend Narayan from Adibio to take control and take this webinar further by showing a demo of the software itself. So, Narayan, all yours.
Hello everyone. Sagar, can you just confirm if my screen is visible to you?
Yeah, we can see your screen and we can also hear you.
Okay, great. Thanks for the quick roundup of what SketchUp is and what SketchUp Pro is now. It's really handy to know what are the different things available in SketchUp Pro. We are all aware of the challenging industrial environment where we are dealing with multiple tools. So it is very much essential for us to have ability to import and export CAD formats from various softwares. So in this exercise and today's demonstration, we'll look at some of these functionalities, and also we'll touch upon the layout features, how to work around with the layout. So let's begin by importing a file. It's very important to know in which units the file is being made of. Unless you know that the dimensional inaccuracies can happen. So it is very much necessary. And I have found out this particular file is made in centimeters. So please make sure while importing, go to the options and select the units so that you get the correct model when you import it. So now as you see, I have imported the CAD file. And lot of entities, all the entities from the CAD file is showing up now. If you see the layer list will show all kinds of information, few wanted, few unwanted. Before you get in, I would suggest to remove all unwanted data just by clicking in and edit component. Whenever we import anything into the SketchUp interface, if there is any other entity, then the file will be included as a component. So I am now trying to delete some of these elements which are not part of my modeling. CAD files are normally having a lot of unwanted or maybe hidden elements which are not part of the modeling. I recommend everyone to delete those information so that the file is very simple in terms of handling. I'm opening up the file which I have cleaned up a bit in the same manner. The file with cleanup. And what I have also done, I have imported the elevations for this particular building. And I have put them in two different layers. As you observe, I have put them in two different layers. This will be northing and west, and the other one will be south and east. You can import CAD files and then you can align them as per the plan. This is a very good approach in CAD SketchUp, especially if you can keep the opposite sides in a different layer, so that when you have a solid here, and when you are seeing it from different views, and what is not relevant. So I suggest to have your CAD files properly grouped together and then bring them into the layers so that it is very handy to handle inside SketchUp. I'm just switching them off. This is the layer tool, which is very handy to organize our stuff. So now let's try to build the walls. Before we get in, it's very much necessary to know what is the width of the wall. So I'm using a tape measure tool to see what will be the wall width. Depth is 30.4, and then I have to draw the wall all across. So there are many ways of approaching to this modeling now. The traditional method was to draw a rectangle, something like this, create space, and then start extruding. And over here I have my wall height as 250 centimeter. So as you see, it is not necessary to set any of the units or parameters. You can directly key in your values into this box, the dimension box over here. So this was the traditional method of constructing the model. Now I will just showcase you a few more methods with which we can approach this. See, if you see now, you are not able to see the line underneath. So it's very difficult for me to see the elements. So in that case, what we have to use is the X-ray tool so that we can see the elements and we can snap them. Now I am constructing additional walls using the combination of move and copy. It is very handy X-ray tool so that you can go to the location where you want to stop the wall and you can snap it. I'm continuing to build additional walls in the same manner. basically I am doing the copy here, when while pushing the material, so it gives me an edge so that I can pull this as a separate wall. And you see, it's so easy. I have drawn almost a room. Let me complete this. So there we go. So we are trying to build the wall very quickly, in a manner so that we don't lose too much of time and energy creating these walls. There are many other methods of doing it. So let me show you some more ways of doing this. As Sagar was talking about extension warehouse. So there are lots of utilities and plugins available. I will just take this out. So this was our initial model which we created. Let me place it somewhere here. And we'll load a utility called 1001 bit tools. So to do that, you have to go to the extension warehouse. Extension warehouse provides you lots of utility to use them productively in your workflow. So you need to see what is available in extension warehouse as well as outside, so that you on your workflow. I'm looking for 1001 bit tools. This is the tool which we will try to use in the today's exercise to see how it benefits us rather than the traditional methods. You can directly install this tool by clicking here. I have already installed this, and I will get the toolbar inside this menu. So let me start with the 1001 bit wall and partitions. As you see now, this is the small toolbar, and it allows me to create walls. The same similar approach what we have done with the width and height, we can create these walls. Let me take a moment to reload it again. I'm opening the same document what we were working earlier. And let me I'm clicking on the walls and partitions so that we see the toolbar appearing now. and this is the window in which we need to enter the wall dimensions and definitions. So as I saw, it was 30.4 in our earlier measurement, and the wall height is 250. And with this information, I can start creating the wall. I have clicked on the build wall, and now we start clicking on the points where we want to construct this. Make sure you are able to identify the correct location for these points where you are clicking them. And keep going. Keep clicking on the exterior points to identify the wall location. As you see, there is a blue line, hairline coming up now, which represents the wall. It may need little practice to zoom, because it needs accurate locations to snap. And as you are moving around, take time and locate these points. To terminate, you can double click on the point and you will see the wall would have appeared. So it's very easy to create these walls. Quickly, we have constructed this external wall. (1001) bit tool allows us to produce these kind of quick walls very easily with very limited information. You can create internal walls, external walls, all types of walls. So I will open up the file which I had prepared using this tool. As you see here, I have prepared the wall, external wall, using 1001 bit tool. Now we will create the internal walls. You can identify what is the width and depth required, and you can start creating them. So I see some internal walls here. And let me start building. So we give the input, and we start creating the walls. So I'm creating this wall. And when we are creating with the 1001 bit tools, all these walls are created in groups. So it's very easy to manage them later on. If you want to edit any of these walls, you have to just click on this and you have to go to edit group, and these walls will be available for you to do the modification. So either you can use it to create a separation like this here. Let's say you want to separate it by adding a cut line here, and you want to add one more partition, and you can add walls very easily. So I'll open up the file where we have completed all the internal walls. And now we have to place the openings on these walls. To make the openings, we need all the elevations to be shown up. So let me switch on the layer where we have stored our 2D drawings. So here is the 2D drawings, that what you see, and we can set the projection to see them properly. Let me see if we can see this side. There you go. Now, to make an opening, what we need is to know we'll use the 1001 bit tools again. We need to give the opening dimensions, width and height, and then we need to locate it. So normally we will use, let me locate. Normally we will have to use either a measurement method, or let's go by X-ray and see where the location is. So here it's very easy with 1001 bit. Let's create a couple of openings now. This looks smaller opening. Okay, let me measure it first so that I can define it. Define and 180. So go to the create opening button, width 180 centimeter and 55. So create opening. So if you see that opening is already been created, but it needs the vertical and horizontal position. And in order to do that, we need to first select the wall, which wall we are going to place it, and then we need to locate it. Since we have now X-ray tool, it is very easy to locate it on the horizontal position. So let me locate it in the horizontal position, and then I'll go to the view to locate the vertical position. Here we go. And now if I rotate it, you will see that the opening is already been created. In this manner, we can quickly create all the openings. Let me create this one more. I'm just trying to see the measurement on these windows so that we can create them very quickly. As you see, 85, and then we start creating by clicking open. Just locate the wall, which is very essential, and then you can do the X-ray to identify where the window will go. So I see it is coming somewhere here, and then move out. And you can locate it. I'll try it again. Now I have found that I have marked it very longly, so I'm going to move it because it's all in the groups. So I'll go to the edit option, and then I can click this and I can move it. Let me remove this. I can use the move command, and I can, using the reference, I need to lock it. Need to make sure we select only the items that we are supposed to move. And I can give the dimension so that I can move this opening. In this way, we can create quickly several openings as we need for the doors and windows. I will open up the file which we have completed with this option where we have created all the openings. So using the similar option and 101 bit tools, we have created so much of work very quickly. To install Windows, we have one more handy tool provided by 1001 bit tools. So let's go to door and window. I'll just show you how to do a window partition. For creating any of these window partition, we need a reference surface. The reference surface should be the center of the opening. So we're going to create a small surface. And we need to snap the midpoint. So create a surface in the mid of the opening. And then I'm just making it just quickly so that we don't lose time. Now, to create any window frame, we need to click the surface and then come here and give the values for the window frame. So for the window frame, you can define these values: frame depth, recess, frame width, recess, and location. So let me give 5 centimeter, which I already found out, and 6.8 or 6.5, and say create window. So now you see the frame is already been created. So to edit this, you have to go to the edit group command, and you can see the only the frame with the screen is available. So I will just put a texture so it is very clear for us. And to exit group, just click somewhere and then close group. Now you can see in few minutes we have created the walls, the openings, the window with frame. In this manner you can create the door and all other elements related to the architecture, including the staircase. We'll open the file where I have created all these. And you can see how we have created all these elements and in quick way. So SketchUp helps us to improve the productivity. The extension warehouse utilities helps us to improve the productivity as well as using SketchUp's strong engine. Now let's try to organize our steps using the outliner. As you see here, there are lots of groups that has been created. Now I see that this portion is also belongs to first level, as well as this portion also belongs to first level, but they are not together. So in order to make them group, we create another group. Let's call it as level 1. Make a group, and I can rename them, saying this is my first level. But in the first level, this is the external walls. So let me name it as external walls. And I have a lot of internal walls. So I will name it as internal walls. This structure helps us to organize our elements inside SketchUp and quickly. Now I have lots of internal walls, so I will just click them over here. And these are all belong to my internal wall. So I will just click them and bring them into the internal wall so that this becomes an internal wall group. As you observe, it is very easy to organize your element inside SketchUp. I have a few more internal walls here, and I just bring them into my internal wall. And you can move them out, you can bring them back. As you see, I have created an internal wall group within no time. but it is very important for us to manage the element inside SketchUp in groups so that we can organize the stuffs very quick in future, or it's very easy to edit as we go into the larger projects. So I will create another group with my external wall and internal wall saying, let me make a group, and this will level 1. And if I start hiding them, you see I am left with internal wall, so I'm going to push it into the internal wall. Now I will turn it back, I will make unhide. So we are back to the normal. So in this way, it is very much necessary for us to manage the elements inside SketchUp so that we don't lose track. And once things are organized, I suggest you to put them on the layer. So we make a layer. We create a layer called level 1 and move all this element, the level 1 element, by going to the entity info and layer into level 1. So it's very important for us to know how to organize our elements inside SketchUp. First make surface or a face, then create volume, then make them group individual, and then you can organize using outliner. And it takes no time for you to get into organizer and then organize the stuffs the way you want them. Let me open the file which we have completed, which has a little bit more details. Here in this SketchUp file, you will see that we have scenes called out. Scenes are the views inside SketchUp, which allows us to store SketchUp views with layers and objects shown as per the style. So the same model you are seeing in different variation here. So these are all different views I have saved inside SketchUp file by giving style and representation for each of these walls. This is the style what I use for the drawing room and for the office room. Now quickly get into the layout so that we can see what layout can offer us. To send any model from SketchUp to layout, you have to just go to the file and click send to layout. So once I do, let me save it. Okay. Yes. So SketchUp is directly integrated into the layout. And it allows us to bring in the 3D object into the layout. Here I have created a template. Unfortunately, due to shortage of time, I am not be able to cover the creation of template, but I will demonstrate how to use layout. As you see, I have brought in the 3D model directly into the layout platform, and it comes. Now this is not just 2D, this is a 3D environment. So let me double click on this, and you can rotate it inside layout. You can choose your view if you want to change. It is no more 2D, it is 3D environment, what you are seeing inside layout, but we are using this for presentation. So once you are happy with the viewpoint, you can click outside. And you see that the view what you have saved inside layout is saved. But normally when you open first time the layout, the last view what SketchUp file has saved, that will be opened. You have to remember that. Now to change this, as you remember, you have saved so many views inside SketchUp file. We can call this here directly. So let me call the drawing room. The view which we have saved inside the SketchUp file is directly available, and we can place it. You can place it. You can create a good coverage page, cover page. Let's bring in couple more views. I will copy the view. Here, and let me change the scene to overall office room. I can add more views. It's very easy to handle layout once you are well versed with it. So I have put 3 different views from our SketchUp file without much efforts here, and you can prepare a cover page very easily. Let me also show you a couple more options by adding additional page. Here we will add additional page. Let's say this is our page 2, okay, and we'll bring in the cut view, section view here, and dimension it. So let me the view slightly bigger. SketchUp models we can set using this palette. We can set. This is a palette window. We have lots of items here, which we can manage, and the layers are the ones which will help us to organize the contents. A quick introduction I am planning to provide here. The pages will give you. You can add multiple pages as you go all along. Text style is the text elements that we are going to showcase on this particular layout is managed by the text style. And as you see, SketchUp model is this directly belongs to the SketchUp model that we have imported into this layout. Here we can even set the scale. So let me first change the view scene to level 1. Okay, here we go, and we can set the scale. So let me try setting the scale so that we get a good view. Okay, there we go. Maybe slightly lesser. Almost 10. I'm changing the scale so that we get a good view. Feet equals 10 inch, 10 feet. Maybe this will give us a good view. Okay, this looks good. So as I scale it, it won't affect anything, and it helps us to draw the dimensions. So I quickly draw a few dimensions. Using layout. Okay, it's on. Architectural units, and you'll see that the info changed. So all the dimension that I'm going to place from now onwards, it will match to the architectural units. So you can start creating beautiful presentation documents as well as construction documents using layout feature. So here in this particular layout exercise, we created 2 pages, one to showcase views directly from SketchUp and to showcase elements, technical elements or information from the SketchUp to for the drawing purpose, the presentation purpose. There are lots of other options available in layout which will enhance presentation preparation. It's like here we have created all the entities. These entities can be easily brought back to page 2 using options available in the pages. So hopefully in a couple of next session we can cover more and more topics about layout and SketchUp stronger points. With this note, I would like to conclude today's. Let's feel free to ask or check with us on any of your doubts or questions so that we can address them.
Yeah, thanks Narayan for the live demo. Anyone having any questions? We don't have any questions on the chat room, so I think we don't have any questions. So let's conclude this session here. Thank you very much, Narayan, for the live demo. Yeah. Uh, there was one question in the chat room regarding the terrain modeling. I think someone was asking whether how do we create terrain model in SketchUp. So, Narayan, is there any way we can demonstrate that? Yeah, Narayan, I think there is one question regarding terrain modeling. Someone was asking about how we can create terrain in SketchUp. So, is there any way we can demonstrate? Do you have any question? Thank. Uh, there was one
Yeah,
question in the chat room regarding.
yeah. What exactly they want to see? Is they have a contour or how is it?
Yeah, if we have contours in AutoCAD format, is there any way we can automatically create the
Yeah.
3D slope surface
Yeah,
edges.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I will quickly demonstrate it here since I recently worked on similar kind of requirements. I'm going to open the file which has contours so that it is very easy. I'm looking for my file. Where is my? Here it is. It's important to have elevations defined inside the terrain, I mean contour file. Over here you see there's the contours and as and when we import anything from AutoCAD, remember that it comes as a component, so we have to go to it and quality of file. Now here you see it is having lots of segments, small segments. So let me check. Detail form. It is having some 31,234 edges, and if I start using a command for terrain modeling, it will take huge time. So what normally we have to use is to simplify these edges so that we have a continuous curve and terrain modeling can be done very quickly. So in order to do that, we have a tool available in extension warehouse which is called simplify contours. It's called simplify contours. So you have to click on it and you will see the changes in the edges. Number of edges gets reduced considerably. So let me click on it and there will be a progress bar at the bottom. If you can observe closely, the simplify contour tool will redraw these contour lines again within the deviation whatever we have given, and it has completed the task. So earlier it was some 31,000 edges. So let's see how much it is now. It's reduced to 14,547 edges. So almost 50% it has reduced. So with this we can work very easily and comfortably. So let me load Sandbox. Sandbox is the toolbar which will help us to create terrain from the contours. So from the contours, and you see the generation of the terrain at the progress bar showing you 27%, 28%. So if you are working with very dense and lots of contours, you have to be very careful. And the tool has completed the activity. Let's hide the other elements. and your terrain is ready. So if you are working with large size contours, be careful to split your data and manage it.
So if we have contours in flat format, I mean, if we don't have elevations defined, then it is better to define the elevations in first in AutoCAD file and then take the file to SketchUp, right?
That is also possible. Also, there is an approach if you have flat file and you need to define the levels, you can create those levels inside SketchUp. It
Okay,
is possible, and there is a method and approach.
okay,
But it is slightly, it will take a longer time for us to cover. So I thought this is much easier to somebody to understand.
correct, correct. So next question we have is from Pallavi. She's asking about how the file management is done in SketchUp. Pallavi, is there any particular thing you are asking about in file management? Hello, Pallavi, you're there?
Yeah, I don't.
I think what she's asking is how to maintain the file size and how to purge the file, and I think from the health point of view. So, are there any tips to maintain the health of the model?
Okay. Yeah, there are few. In fact, if you see Windows preferences tab, components that goes into the file, because what we normally do is we construct and then we try to that's when okay, sorry, it is in model info. Come to the statistics, and you can use purge unused elements from your model. Windows model info, and come to statistics, and you can see uh, what all the elements are there. Then you can use fix problem. You can fix the files. Any other questions, Sagar?
Yeah, I think we have no more questions. So let's conclude this session here. And, any more questions from the audience? No, I don't think there are any more questions. So thank you everyone for
Hello?
attending.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So Pallavi is there.
Hello? Somebody?
yeah. Sagar, we have one question here. Actually, we were not having access to talk to you. Actually, you were not audible. Yeah.
Okay.
Vishali has a question.
Can you hear me, Sagar?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can the speaker just brief about the sandbox? Yeah, can you brief about the sandbox tool and how we can access it for terrain development?
Sandbox is available from Extension Warehouse.
Okay.
So you can go and get this tool. And if you want to, are you looking for how to use these tools?
Yes. Just a brief about the
Okay.
drape command.
Okay. For the drape command, let me show you here. So assume this is the terrain with which we are working, and now we will create some elements.
I want to have, say, pathways, roads
Yeah,
in this.
exactly. So let's draw a few elements. I'm just trying to draw some elements so that I can extrude them, project them. So I've created a couple of lines here. So let me pull them up. I'm going to connect them so I can get a shape. So for the lines, so let's show the lines. Select the mesh on which I have a terrain, and then you will see these lines appearing on the. Can you see it? So you can create whatever the elements you want to draw. Just project them using the drape command.
Yeah, one more question we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about the specification, like whatever material, or can we apply material and can we add specification to this?
To the terrain material.
Yeah, it's irrespective of that, means like any material we can add.
You are talking about adding some different material and giving it a specification to it.
Yes, can we document that with
Yeah,
anyhow?
it is possible, but then you have to go through IFC channel. You have to define the code, and then it is possible. Unfortunately, I don't have any specific example to share right now, but definitely this is something I'm quite sure workable.
Okay. Instead of we documenting, can it
Yeah.
operate by itself? Is what
Yes,
I was asking.
only way you can get the output in the format from SketchUp. SketchUp is by documenting it in the IFC. So if you can define that in the IFC code that this is my IFC code so and so for the material and I want to extract it, it is possible.
Okay.
I think that's all, Sagar. It's really helpful.
Okay.
Sagar, are you
Yeah,
able to hear us?
yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
that's all from us. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, we have no more questions. So let's conclude this session here. Thanks Narayan for the live demo and Q&A session. Thank you everybody for attending the webinar.
Thank you,
Again.
everyone.
Yep.